today we are talking about
I-bonds.
Yes, they are all the rage recently, at least in my little sphere of the world. Everybody's talking about I-bonds right now. So we thought it would be good to bring you guys some information. Disclaimer, we put this in the description box every single time, but it's worth repeating. This is not investment advice. This is not financial advice, all right? If you are looking into I-bonds or any other type of investment, for that fact, make sure you consult a qualified professional so y'all can figure that out for yourself. Just giving you the education and all the factors and considerations that you need to make a informed decision for yourself. All right, with that said, let's jump into the episode.
Hey Wealth Builders! Welcome back to another episode of The Bemused. My name is Mishak.
And I'm Akiva.
And on this channel, we talk about all things personal finance for young adults just like you and us.
So if you're into that kind of thing, come on and join the Wealth Builder squad by hitting that big red subscribe button. And while you're at it, click that little notification bell so you never miss when we post new valuable videos just like this one right here. All right, first things first. What are I-bonds? So Series I savings bonds, also known as I-bonds, are a type of bond offered by the U.S. government, and they're designed to keep pace with inflation. So the interest rate you get on these bonds is a combination of a base rate that stays the same for the life of the bond, plus a variable CPI-based inflation rate that's reviewed twice a year. And CPI stands for Consumer Price Index. It's essentially the index that tracks the prices of goods and services.
So why are I-bonds all the rage these days? Bonds issued from May through October 2022 carry a rate of 9.62%, a combination of the base rate, 0%, and the variable rate, 9.62%. This is the highest inflation rate I-bonds have carried. One cool feature of I-bonds is that the interest rate can't go below 0, and the redemption value of I-bonds can't decrease.
So how do I-bonds work? Investors can purchase bonds in specified dollar increments, and the minimum required investment is only like $25. The interest accrues every single month, and it's then compounded semi-annually. So every 6 months, that interest compounds. I-bonds increase in value on the first day of each month, and both principal and interest are paid out whenever you cash in the bond.
There is a limit on how much I-bonds you can buy. For electronic bonds, the limit is $10,000 per calendar year. For paper bonds, the limit is $5,000 per calendar year. These limits apply separately, meaning you could purchase up to $15,000 of I-bonds in one calendar year.
So where do you buy them? The most common way is to buy I-bonds online through Treasury Direct. So that's treasurydirect.gov, .gov people, not .com, nothing else, .gov, always, all right? You can transfer funds from a bank account or even use payroll direct deposit to purchase your I-bonds. And you can also purchase them by mail when you file your federal tax return. I-bonds can be purchased by individuals and by trusts and estates. And this includes children under 18 if the minor has their adult custodian create what's known as a minor-linked account.
So what are some downsides and risks to consider when purchasing I-bonds? I-bonds have a minimum holding period of 1 year. So you'll need to be absolutely confident that you won't need the money for at least that time period. Additionally, there's potential interest rate risk. Bonds issued between May and October of 2022 carry the highest inflation rate in the history of these bonds to date. However, this interest rate can go down in the future.
Unless you cash them in first, I-bonds accrue interest for 30 years. Like we just mentioned, after a year, you can cash them in. If you cash them before 5 years of purchase, however, you will forfeit the prior 3 months worth of interest. So for example, if you cash an I-bond after 1 year, you'll only receive the first 9 months worth of interest. So keep that in mind.
Now you know, we can't tell you about an investment without telling you how it's taxed. Interest income from I-bonds are subject to federal taxes, but not state and local taxes. Plus, you might be able to avoid paying federal taxes when using an I-bond to pay for college.
When it comes to reporting interest, you have options. You can either report the accrued interest each year, or you can defer until you either cash in the bond, surrender ownership of or gift the bond, or the bond reaches its maturity year and stops accruing interest. Whichever one of those things happens first. If you opt to report your interest every year, you must continue to do so for all of the bonds that you have currently and those that you might acquire in the future.
If you own electronic bonds, you can see the value of your bonds in your Treasury Direct account under the Current Holdings tab. For a paper bond, you use the Savings Bond calculator on the Treasury Direct site, which we'll link below.
So what happens when you sell? When cashing out an iBond, investors receive a lump sum payment that includes all of your interest and principal. If you purchase them online using the Treasury Direct website, you can simply receive funds by electronically depositing them into your bank account. You may be able to cash in paper bonds at some banks. Alternatively, if you have paper bonds, you can send them to Treasury Retail Services to be cashed, along with this form called the FS Form 1522. You can also do a partial redemption of your electronic bonds with a minimum of $25, and you have to leave at least $25 in your Treasury Direct account if you only cash a part of the bond's value. Principal and a proportionate amount of interest are included in the redemptions. Keep in mind that partial redemption is not an option for paper bonds. And also note that iBonds cannot be sold to another individual. However, they can be gifted.
When you cash your bonds, you receive a Form 1099 INT to report the interest income received. For electronic bonds, this form is posted on the Treasury Direct's website the January following your redemption date. If redeeming a paper bond at the bank will provide you the form, either immediately or after the end of the year in which you redeem the bond. If you cash your paper bond with Treasury Retail Security Services, they will mail you the form the January following your redemption date.
So, what type of investor might iBonds be a good fit for? iBonds might be a good choice for long-term investors looking to diversify their portfolio, add a little something different in there, or someone looking for a place to park their excess cash for at least a couple of years. Remember, this is not financial advice or a recommendation. Make sure to consult a financial professional when making this decision for yourself and deciding if iBonds are right for you.
So thanks so much for watching this video. Comment down below what you think about iBonds. Is this something that you're thinking you're gonna look into or something you're not gonna look into? We'd love to hear that down below.
Want to check up on how your finances are doing? Make sure that you take the quiz. It'll be linked down in the description box below, and probably also throw it in the first pinned comment. We'll see how I'm feeling today. But that quiz will basically give you a synopsis of everything that you might want to pay attention to further your financial life.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and that notification bell so you never miss when we post new content just like this. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.